this also work is advancing quite successfully.
Thank you. And Thomas, please.
Hello, thank you very much. Thomas Mann-Nielsen at Euractiv. I have two questions. So one for Commissioner Dombrovskis. Could you just give us a bit more detail about the state of play of G7 support for Ukraine? Because obviously the Commission has estimated that Ukraine needs 135 billion over the next 2 years. So how confident are you that this additional 45 billion will be covered by G7 partners? And then another question for President von der Leyen about a slightly different topic about Greenland. We've heard recently that Defence Commissioner Kubilius has said that Article 42.7 would apply this mutual assistance clause. Greenland obviously is not part of the EU, but there are tens of thousands of European citizens, EU citizens living in Greenland. So in your view, would member states have an obligation to intervene to support Greenland, including providing military support to Greenland, if the United States were to make military moves on Greenland? Thank you very much.
Let's do the following. We're focusing on the topic of the press conference, and if we have time, we come back to your question at the very end. But we start by me.
Thank you for this question. Indeed, from the EU side, we are, I would say, taking care of the bulk of the financing needs for Ukraine for the next 2 years, but we also expect other international partners to play their part. That's why we continue this engagement with the G7 and other partners. So first of all, next year, the delivery of ERA loans initiative will continue, and we expect some 9.7 billion euros to be dispersed through the ERA loans initiative next year by other partners, because from the EU side we fully disbursed our contribution already last year. We are working not only with G7 partners but also with other countries. For example, Norway is committed to come with a sizable financial contribution. Also, EU member states will continue to provide both financial and in-kind military support, and obviously also international financial institutions. Currently, International Monetary Fund is preparing its next program of the size of $8.1 billion. Actually, on Monday, I had a meeting with IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgiou to discuss exactly those topics, and this work appears to be broadly on track, because also for IMF, one of the conditions for IMF program to go forward is that the financing gap of Ukraine is being covered.
So there are many speculations out there about what should be done, what could be done, what may be done. I want to put all this aside and address the general principle of Greenland, that we look at what are the different debates. So first of all, Greenland belongs to its people. So it's up to Denmark and Greenland, and only to them, to decide on matters that are concerning Denmark and Greenland. That's point number one, and that's very important. We are in constant contact with the Danish government, also to listen to what the needs are, what the needs of the Greenlanders are, in very close contact. Second, Greenland is part of NATO. And when we are speaking about Arctic security, this is one of the core topics of NATO. And we know that the glue between the allies is the fact that there's always the clear motto, one for all for one. So NATO is one forum to integrate the different interests that are out there. But of course, the Arctic and Arctic security is also a matter for the European Union without any question. And we've invested since years in our relationship with Greenland. I was there last year, before all this happened, to open the office in Nuuk, so that we have a constant channel of communication with the Greenlanders. We have an investment program. We've stepped up our engagement since last year. We have accelerated our work. So there's a strong and good and existing relationship between the European Union and the Greenlanders. And for me, it's important that the Greenlanders know, and they know this by the deeds, not only by the words, that we respect the wishes of the Greenlanders and their interests, and that they can count on us.
Good. And we come back to the topic of the press conference. Yes, please.
Just one short follow-up on this topic, as we are still wondering, is Article 42.7 applicable to Greenland? I think it's quite important for Greenland to know.
The question that is applicable right now. It doesn't ask itself.
And the President was very clear in her response. Let me take one question online, because I know that many journalists are also already in Cyprus.